to start with, last night we took this engine out and we pressure washed it. I did tape over some of the places so we weren't getting water inside. All the dirt's off it, it's all good and ready to go. The next thing I did is I just took a bunch of pictures so that I remember how something came apart. As you'll see me go through this, you're gonna see parts laid out everywhere, but they're all gonna be in a very specific order. Lay it out how you took it apart and put it back together the same way. Honestly, it really is that simple for the most part, but this is a big job. Let's get going. So something that is important as well when you're doing this is having the right tools. So I do have a clutch tool. So this is to hold the clutch in place to remove and reinstall the clutch nut. Also, I have the screwdriver. It looks like a Phillips, right? It's not. All of these engines and the rest of the dirt bikes, like throttles and clutch perches and brake perches and stuff that look like a Phillips, carburetor bolts, they're not. They are JIS, which is Japanese Industrial Standard. And while they look like a Phillips, the shape is just slightly different. You would not believe how much better this grips the bolt than a Phillips does. So highly suggest getting one of these. 20 bucks will save you a whole bunch of stripped bolts. I promise. Watching this right now and you're scared already, you probably should be, but we're just getting into the thick of it. This is when it starts to get dicey because all these gears, washers, snap rings, everything have to go back in exactly the same, or this thing is not going to run, or it's not going to last very long at all. So make sure you put it back together the same way you take it apart. Lots of pictures. Remember what I said about having the right tool? Well, I don't have the right tool for the flywheel puller. It has an external thread on it with a stud in the middle that pushes on the crankshaft bolt. I have figured out, I think, how to get a regular bolt puller on it. Definitely not the right way to do it. I might break it. I hope not, but we're gonna give it a try and see if we can get it to let loose. As you can see, this is not working like I'd hoped. I did get some good silicoil down in there though, so hopefully that will seep into that shaft area and loosen that up, and we'll give this another try in a minute. Well, unfortunately, that took way longer than I expected, so I shut off the video. Sorry about that. You did not get to hear the pop, but it did finally come loose. Hopefully I didn't damage anything. I don't think I did. I finally got it using a combination of heat, coil with silicone, a lot of pressure, some tapping. Everything is disassembled on the outside of this motor, so it is time to split the cases. Bought a special tool made by Tusk, and we're going to use that to actually pull the halves apart when we get there. But for now, it is time to pull the bolts out. In my opinion, now comes kind of one of the toughest jobs of this. All of these gears are loose. Everything is loose. Everything just pokes through the other side. Nothing's retained. And all of these gears and spacers and everything need to stay together. I can't get this stuff out of order, and it's going to make a giant mess and be very difficult to put back together if I do. So here goes nothing. Check this out right here. This is the that caused all that damage. This is what's left of the retaining ring that was holding the wrist pin in the piston. And this came out and caused it to lock up. And this was down in the bottom of the crankcase. And it would have been a total failure had we just put it back together done a top end kit. Hundreds of dollars of damage. So glad we took it apart. This is why it pays to do things right the first time and not just throw stuff back together, and why I do not like buying used bikes, because you never know what happened to the previous bike. Especially a bike, oh, just rebuilt, 2 hours on it. Great, why did you just rebuild it to sell it? Always makes me skeptical and nervous, but hey, there's good ones out there, don't get me wrong. But this is going to be a good one again when we're done. Original crank still installed. All right, decent amount of slop. Look at this new one. Like, you can't even see the motion, it just barely moves. Why did you just stick bearings in the crank in the freezer? Well, heat expands things, cold shrinks things. There is a very slight press fit between the bearings and the case, so just chilling them in the freezer for a couple hours can reduce that diameter by 0.5 thousandths, 1/1000th of an inch, and that can be enough to make them drop in instead of having to press fit them. Even if we still have to press them, they'll press in easier. Some seals need to be driven out with a socket. Sometimes you can just push on them, but I'll probably have to get a socket to get that one out. Just drive it in. Then we'll drive it back into the new socket from the back side. We have this special tool, it's called a seal puller, that you use to pop in here and pop out the seal. It's that easy. If you try to do this with a screwdriver or some other method, sure, it's possible, but it's more work and it just makes a mess as well. Having the right tool for the job is definitely helpful. Got our nice cold bearing out of the freezer. Let's hurry up. See if it just drops in. Not quite, but close. And that's it. It's bottomed. It is time to install the crankshaft. Alright, so I used this 12 thou feeler gauge in here, shoved it in there, spin this around, make sure it's not only straight, but it's got a consistent gap all the way around. That is a completed build. So while I did get the engine rebuilt in a day, we still don't have it back in the bike. Let's see if we can do this. I've got 1 hour before I have to leave. Maybe. See, there's still tools scattered everywhere. I was supposed to be in the shower, showered up and ready to leave already, but I really want to hear this thing run. So let's give it a shot.